Blake Treinen's journey is one of those rare baseball stories that feels both improbable and inevitable at the same time. A path shaped by resilience, humility, and an obsessive commitment to getting better even when every sign suggested he should walk away. Long before he became one of the most devastating relievers in Major League Baseball, long before hitters flinched at the very thought of his turbo sinker diving out of the strike zone like it had a mind of its own, Treinen was simply a young man who loved the game more deeply than the game seemed to love him back. He wasn't the prospect scouts circled on clipboards. He wasn't the kid with the polished mechanics or the spotlight that follows prodigies from Little League to the draft. He was the opposite, overlooked, under-recruited, underdeveloped, a pitcher who had the dream but not yet the stage. And yet, what makes Blake Treinen so unforgettable is how he kept chasing that dream with uncommon patience and a faith that allowed him to stay committed through every setback, every closed door, every moment where giving up almost seemed logical. His career stands today as a reminder that greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it grows quietly, steadily, through seasons of doubt and rebuilding, until one day the entire baseball world realizes it can no longer look away. As a young pitcher, Treinen didn't dominate scouts' attention or command national headlines. He didn't throw 100 miles per hour as a teenager or show early signs of generational arm talent. In fact, his velocity initially wasn't anything special at all, and for a while it looked as though his pitching career might slip through his fingers before he even had a chance to prove what he could be. But what Treinen had even then was an uncoachable fire, an ability to self-reflect honestly, and the rare discipline to rebuild everything from the ground up when necessary. The hurdles didn't shrink him, they hardened him. His time at South Dakota State became a defining chapter not because he entered as a star, but because he forced himself to evolve into one. He worked, learned, failed, adjusted, and repeated the process relentlessly. And slowly, the pitcher who once lacked direction found his identity on the mound. The sinker started to take shape. His command started to sharpen. His mindset began to shift from hopeful to hungry. Baseball has a way of rewarding players who respect the craft with that kind of devotion, and Treinen's transformation was proof that the game notices those who never stop grinding. Being drafted was a quiet victory in a career that had been built on steady persistence rather than fireworks. But what mattered most was that it gave him a platform. And once Treinen had a platform, he found a way to elevate himself. When he reached the big leagues with Washington, he seemed like one of those pitchers built for October baseball, big, durable, fearlessly attacking hitters with a pitch that broke the laws of physics. Coaches saw it, teammates felt it, hitters feared it. His sinker wasn't just good. It was a weapon, a pitch that made even elite hitters uncomfortable. It didn't move like a two-seamer. It bent, darted, and dropped like it was reacting to gravity in a different universe. And yet, as dominant as Treinen could be, he also experienced the other side of baseball, the side that tests a man's spirit more than his arm. There were seasons where the command deserted him, where the sinker flattened out, where frustration filled the spaces confidence used to occupy. These periods didn't break Treinen, they reshaped him. They strengthened his resolve. They pushed him toward a higher level of mental toughness that would eventually define his best years. That mental evolution led to one of the most remarkable transformations by a reliever in modern baseball. When the Oakland Athletics gave Treinen a fresh start, he didn't just rebound, he ascended. The 2018 season in particular stands as one of the most dominant relief campaigns ever recorded. He wasn't simply excellent, he was historically unhittable. A microscopic ERA, strikeouts that piled up effortlessly, weak contact that became routine, ninth innings that felt predetermined. His pitches didn't just move, they danced out of reach, disappearing into the glove before batters could adjust. For many fans, that version of Treinen became the standard, the embodiment of the perfect closer, overpowering yet composed, fiery yet controlled, intimidating yet humble. Watching him at his peak wasn't just witnessing greatness. It was witnessing a pitcher who had maximized every ounce of his potential through discipline, belief, and an unshakable work ethic. But what makes Blake Treinen's legacy so compelling is not just the dominance. It's what he overcame afterward. Injuries arrived, roles changed, teams shifted. The path forward became bumpy in ways no pitcher can fully prepare for. Yet through every twist, Treinen stayed steady. He stayed committed. He stayed true to who he was, a competitor who refused to let adversity define him. His move to the Los Angeles Dodgers became another revitalization point, a place where his experience, leadership, and mastery of pitching could be fully appreciated. He didn't need the closer role to prove his worth. His value transcended labels. He was the fireman, the late-inning titan, the trusted arm who took the ball in the toughest moments without hesitation. And what made Treinen invaluable wasn't just the movement on his pitches, it was the poise behind them. He exuded a calmness that steadied teammates and unsettled opponents. He was, in every sense, a veteran presence who understood what it meant to compete at the highest level. Even as injuries tested him again in later seasons, the same unbreakable resolve remained. Treinen never approached the game with entitlement, only gratitude and determination. Fans admired his resilience, his refusal to surrender to the setbacks that often derail pitchers in their 30s. They respected the way he continued giving everything he had to the craft, continuing to refine his mechanics, continuing to mentor younger pitchers, continuing to carry himself with humility and class. In a sport where careers can change course in an instant, Treinen's longevity and adaptability became defining aspects of his story. He was not just a pitcher. He was a professional, a leader, a symbol of what it looks like to outwork the doubt and the obstacles that stand in the way of greatness. To watch Blake Treinen pitch is to witness a rare blend of power and precision, of violence and control. His delivery is compact and efficient, erupting into explosive movement that challenges everything hitters think they know about timing. The sinker, still one of the nastiest pitches of his generation, remains a marvel, its late dive turning barrels into sawdust and confidence into uncertainty. His slider, sharp and biting, serves as a reminder that he never stopped adding layers to his arsenal. And more than any individual pitch, what defines Treinen is the conviction behind every throw. He pitches with purpose. He pitches with clarity. He pitches with an internal steadiness carved from years of fighting for every opportunity. Off the field, Treinen's reputation is equally strong. Teammates describe him as grounded, thoughtful, loyal, and deeply committed to his family. He doesn't seek attention, he seeks excellence. He doesn't crave praise, he craves growth. He carries himself with the kind of humility that endears him to fans and peers alike, the kind of humility that stands out in a sport often fueled by bravado. For young pitchers, he is proof that development doesn't stop when you reach the majors. For veterans, he is proof that resilience isn't optional, it's essential. For fans, he is proof that underdogs can rise to the highest heights when their hearts are anchored in persistence. Today, when people talk about Blake Treinen, they talk about more than a pitcher, they talk about a legacy. They talk about a career that defied expectation, a career built on grit, growth, and grace under pressure. They talk about the countless moments where he delivered when it mattered most, the innings where one misstep could swing a season, but Treinen stood firm and turned chaos into calm. They talk about the trust he earned from every clubhouse he entered, the quiet leadership he offered by example rather than proclamation. They talk about a man who took the long road to greatness and never once complained about the climb. Blake Treinen may never be the loudest name in baseball, but his story resonates because it mirrors real life. Full of obstacles, full of opportunities, full of chapters where belief matters more than circumstance. He is a testament to staying the course, to betting on yourself, to rebuilding even when rebuilding feels like starting from scratch. And for fans who have followed him from Washington to Oakland to Los Angeles, the appreciation runs deep. They have watched him rise, fall, rise again, and continue pushing forward with the same determination that brought him from obscurity to the center of baseball's biggest stages. His journey isn't finished. His influence isn't fading. His presence in the game is still felt through every young player he inspires, every pitcher who studies his movement patterns, every teammate who has witnessed his dedication up close. Blake Treinen remains a reminder that baseball rewards the relentless, honors the resilient, and showcases the extraordinary in those who never stop chasing improvement. In a sport defined by its unpredictability, what remains constant is the admiration he has earned through effort and integrity. And when his career is finally looked back on in full, it will not be defined solely by statistics or roles, but by the depth of his character and the strength of his perseverance. Thank you all so much for joining this tribute and celebrating the incredible journey of Blake Treinen. If you enjoyed this deep dive into his story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay connected for more long-form tributes just like this. Your support means everything, and it keeps these stories alive for fans everywhere.